Close your eyes and walk with me as you travel through one afternoon of my life. One day, my mom, little sister, and I were walking down in our neighborhood. Out of nowhere came two dogs started to chase us. My heart started pounding as we ran to another house, but I knew I had to save my mom and baby sister. I didn't know what the next second, minute, or hour would hold, but I knew I had to stand up and be brave. I had to be the young, fearless man my father taught me to be, for those dogs would not harm my family. I can only imagine this is how those four young African-American men felt when they sat down at the lunch counter, waiting to be served. On Monday, February 1st, 1960, four young men entered the F.W. Woolworth lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina, in the hopes to be served lunch at the segregated diner. Those four young men from North Carolina A&T State University made a thoughtful decision to sit down at the metal lunch counter with light blue and pink stools and politely asking to be served. While they were denied service, they refused to give up their seats until closing time. The police arrived on the scene but could not arrest the young men because they were not being disobedient. The days to follow was really the beginning of the movement where 25 freshman men and 2 women entered the F.W. Woolworth lunch counter to continue the protest. The students sat down from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. while the staff would still refuse to serve them. The students sat down with books and materials to keep them busy. The next day, there were more than 300 students protesting at the lunch counter. Students from Dudley High School, North Carolina A&T State University, Bennett's College, and a few students from the Women's College, now known as UNC Greensboro, sat down to continue the protest. The protest did not only hurt Woolworth's business, but other local businesses. With the success of the sit-in came much media coverage throughout the northern and southern states. By the end of the summer of 1960, many businesses across the South started to integrate their facility. By the end of July of 1960, the F.W. Woolworth lunch counter quietly integrated their facility. The movement spread it across until it hit 55 cities and 13 states who went against segregation. On this day, I honor those 4 young men who went for their civil rights and many others. Now the F.W. Woolworth lunch counter is a national museum where we can celebrate the people in our past.